In a less than 2-day period last week, the Massachusetts State Police narcotics and gang interdiction troopers, along with MSP's federal and local law enforcement partners in a joint task force, dealt severe blows to two highly organized, high-volume drug trafficking organizations operating out of the Merrimack Valley and targeted a Fall River-based street-level drug operation supplied by one of those drug trafficking organizations. These operations successfully combined to seize approximately 6.5 kilograms of suspected fentanyl, numerous pills, and resulted in several arrests, all in less than 48 hours. The estimated street value of 6.5 kilos of fentanyl is reported to be approximately $1.4 million. The danger of 6.5 kilos of fentanyl in our communities cannot be measured. I'm joined here today at Massachusetts State Police Headquarters by Homeland Security Investigations Deputy Special Agent in Charge David Magnich, Brockton Police Chief Emmanuel Gomes, and East Bridgewater Police Chief Paul O'Brien. I thank them for their partnership and for their continued commitment to addressing the opioid epidemic and associated violence that plagues our communities. On Thursday, the MSP Commonwealth Interstate Narcotics Reduction Enforcement Team, or CINRET, conducted an operation that resulted in the seizure of approximately 2.5 kilograms of suspected fentanyl and the arrest of a Lawrence-based supplier. That MSP CINRET investigation, which was assisted by State Police Gang Unit and members of the Southeastern Mass Gang Task Force, initially targeted the distribution of fentanyl and cocaine by two suspects in Fall River. That investigation led to a search warrant for a motor vehicle that led to the recovery of approximately $11,600 in U.S. currency, which was secured as evidence as suspected proceeds of narcotics trafficking. Investigators then executed a second search warrant, leading to the seizure of a digital scale consistent with the use of drug distribution, U.S. currency, and documents establishing residency of an apartment. In addition, 8 bricks of suspected fentanyl were recovered. 2 other plastic baggies containing additional suspected fentanyl was recovered, and numerous pills were recovered. Troopers, officers, and agents then developed information identifying a Lawrence-based supplier of those narcotics that were seized in Fall River. CINRET and gang unit investigators were then able to arrange for a delivery of fentanyl by that supplier to Fall River on Thursday night. The investigative team set up surveillance of the prearranged delivery location, and ultimately, Jose Baez Lara, 32, of Lawrence, was taken into custody. Troopers and officers seized a gift bag that contained 15 block packages that contained suspected fentanyl. Baez Lara was booked on narcotics trafficking charges. The 2 individuals at the initial Fall River motor vehicle stop will also face drug charges. Parts of that investigation are ongoing, and no further information about them is being released at this time. On Friday, August 28th, there was a second successful joint investigation in southeastern Massachusetts. The South Unit of the Massachusetts State Police CINRET, a task force comprised of state troopers, East Bridgewater Police, and Brockton police officers, and agents from the Federal Homeland Security Investigations Department, along with MSP gang unit troopers, developed information about a fentanyl drug trafficking organization operating out of Methuen. On Friday, team members surveilled a vehicle from a target residence in Methuen to Route 3 south into Boston, where marked state police cruisers conducted a motor vehicle stop that led to the seizure of 2 kilograms of fentanyl inside the vehicle. Troopers arrested 2 female suspects, Isadora Castro, 29, and Kaylin Guillermo, for drug trafficking, and transported them to the State Police Barracks in South Boston for booking. Simultaneous to these arrests, surveillance remained in place on the target residence in Methuen. That resident was frozen pending a search warrant for both the resident and the target's vehicle. On Saturday morning, that warrant was executed, both on the residence and the motor vehicle. As a result, additional fentanyl was recovered, methamphetamine was recovered, and numerous blue and green pills believed to be Xanax and 30 milligram oxycodone were recovered. Also located during that search warrant was approximately $8,129 in U.S. currency, also secured as evidence and believed to be proceeds from illicit narcotic sales. Anthony Levine of Methuen, age 30, was allowed to leave the residence prior to that execution of that search warrant because of the length of time it took to secure the warrant. Mr. Levine, at the time, was on a functioning court-ordered monitoring bracelet as a result of previous charges in Suffolk Norfolk Superior Court for narcotics trafficking and firearms violations. Shortly after the seizure, the bracelet ceased operation. We are actively seeking Mr. Levine. In all, from Thursday to the pre-dawn hours of Saturday morning, the MSP Sinrat South Troopers and their Brockton, East Bridgewater, and Homeland Security Investigations partners, the MSP Gang Unit and MSP Uniformed Troopers, worked tirelessly to take 6.5 kilograms of fentanyl and heroin out of the hands of drug traffickers.